Let's dismiss.
Well, what's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
First of all, I'm gonna say how I'm doing about what I'm looking at over there.
Yeah.
You looking gooder than a government check, girl.
Baby.
It is the end of the month. It is the end of Women's History Month or just Women's Month?
Women's History Month.
I know that you inside of your classroom would put up a women's history fact. What's the one thing that you might have either learned or that stood out to you from the facts that you displayed over the month?
Actually, so for Black History Month, I put up facts. For Women's History Month, I put up quotes by women.
Okay.
And, give shout outs to women this month.
Who's your favorite one?
There were so many good ones. Like I had a website that I went to and I pulled it up.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to venture, it would probably be, let me pull it up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The one, I had one from AOC today and I loved it. So Representative Alexandria,
Cortez.
Cortez, because it's AOC.
Yeah.
They'll tell you you're too much. Yeah, they'll tell you you're too loud, that you need to wait your turn and ask the right people for permission. Do it anyway. And I felt like that was such a great way to go out for the month of March.
Okay.
Just, you got to live your life and not allow other people to condemn you or judge you. I also like the one I had last week that said, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm not here to be anything but my best, whatever that means for me. By J-Lo.
No doubt. All right. We're past Women's History Month, but I have something for you here before we get into our live stream for today and our topic. I want to make sure I wasn't showing any identifying information. Okay. So I had a buddy of mine and his wife post up something on their social media. And what I saw, I thought was dope and appropriate for you.
For me.
So to the Hart family, shout out to them because I asked to purchase it from them. And know what they told me?
What?
Don't worry about it. I got you.
Aww.
So in this day and age, when people do something to you, it's free.
Photo free.
King is thankful. So from Michelle and King, want to say thank you.
Thank you. I don't know what it is yet, but thank you.
Oh, okay. Hold on. There is a note in here, but before I read the note, put out your hands to receive. Thank you for trusting me. You can go ahead and open it.
Okay. Ooh, stickers.
Oh,
from my computer. Too. Ooh.
All right, I wasn't expecting
that. I scroll with the band. Hey, shout out to Band Books. Love it. All right, this says, yes, I did say that. But I meant yoke, not yoke. All right, nice. Love, that's it. That's the text. John 13:34 through 36. I love it. First of all, stickers. Weight on my heart. All right. I'm going to go in for the gift.
All right. It's front and back now.
Mustard! Face the size of a mustard.
What does the back say?
The back says, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you. Mustard! Mustard on the beat.
I saw that and I said I immediately had to get it for you.
Oh, this is so cute.
Immediately had to get it for you. So that was from Misty. Misty is someone who I met that I know from Kansas. Her and her husband I consider real good friends. And this is what was written inside of it in a note. Said, hope all is well in the East. Take care of each other and be careful. It's weird outside. Love you both, Misty, with an I, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And then there is a PS. Sent you some stickers, because everyone needs stickers from time to time.
We do. We do.
So,
That
Misty,
was so cool. Thank you, baby.
if you're welcome. If you are watching, thank you for that. That was dope, because you showed the time it takes to wrap it.
Yeah.
Go to the post office, send it off, and things like that. That's awesome. So what I am going to do
Okay.
is I got something for you as well, Misty. So be on the lookout. And it's not a tit for tat thing, but this was dope. So thank you. Now let's take a look who we have in the building before we continue. Shout out to Tarika Smith, same last name, but we not related. Tarika, thank you. You still owe me something, Tarika. I have not forgotten it. I need that ASAP. You know what it is. Send it. That's all I'm going to say.
That's real ominous.
And shout out to Pete as well. Pete said, hey guys. Hey Pete, what's up, my man? Good to hear from you, brother. Pete's content has been improving. He is, and I'm going to say it wrong, Ghost of Sparta HQ. That is his YouTube channel. Go over and check him out. He covers a wide range of topics from pop culture to men's things to health to grooming. And he's leveling up on his content creation. He's leveling up personally. So Pete, I see the improvements, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for supporting us as well. And Tarika said, hey, Queen, hey, King, how are you? DM Watt. So that's Misty and them. Y'all need to keep doing what y'all are doing.
Thank you.
She said, you are welcome. Our love to you both. And thanks, buddy. All right, Pete. Oh, my goodness. I was supposed to call Pete. Pete, brother, I am so sorry. Today was my first day back at work, and that's not an excuse. But I'll text you when I'm done tonight, and we'll coordinate and figure this out for a later date this week. I am so sorry. That was highly disrespectful of me. I was supposed to call him and show him something, and I was extremely disrespectful by not doing that. I apologize. Shout out to Kimmit over on YouTube said, hello, hey, what's up, Kimmit? Thank you.
Hi.
And Pete's page is Sparta HQ Network. And a question for you before we get into it. Tarika said, Queen, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired.
You good?
Spring break starts next week. That's how I choose to view it.
You got any plans for spring break?
Sleeping.
And
Sleeping.
And
Sleeping.
And
Sleeping. What else am I supposed to do? Oh, I mean,
be with your man.
oh, okay. Then I'll sleep here with my man, but I'm still asleep.
No doubt. You deserve it. You're getting to that last part of the school year. I don't have anything because I'm going to be working. So you do you. Rest, sleep. Definitely take care of that. It's the perfect time to recharge because we're going to Japan in the summer. Yay.
Hey. I'm like, what are we doing? What am I doing on Saturday? Because I'm like, now I want to wear my shirt.
Oh, got you. And then it's Kermit, but I added an I for fun. That's dope. All right. So today's episode is
what are we talking about?
You know what? I think I did this. I think we do have it right here. So I think I'll be able to display chat by clicking it like this. Hey, there we go. Perfect. So Today we're going to talk about, there's a content creator. He's on all platforms, but I primarily saw this on YouTube. Darwin McPherson. Darwin put out a video that was titled 7 Reasons Why Older Men Don't Trust Women and 7 Things That Women Can Do to Change It. Now, the audience was for about older men and what they've observed, and his breakdown was fantastic. It's one of his recent videos, but it's also really popular as well. I ain't hit you with the claw just yet. I did this. I'm gonna start doing the Obama soon. But it was a fantastic
music director.
It was a fantastic video, and I loved his breakdown. And when you went inside of the comment section, you saw a lot of people that weren't necessarily people that know him and expect the quality of the content from him, but people that were new that was like, hey, just found your channel. This video is like gold. It should be taught in classrooms. So I reached out to Darwin. I asked if I could showcase his video. He said yes. So don't content strike me, bruh. And we're going to get into it. Now, the audience for his video, I think, are people closer to our age. But I felt like this is a lesson that if you're 20 years old, or let's say 18 and above, you should be observant and listening to what's being discussed, because observationally, depending on where you're at, who you listen to and things like that, some stuff can be an echo chamber, but it's also best to hear how the other side of the fence are looking at things. It's good to hear what other people are going through, because you might go, hey, things are straight over here. And as a 40-some-year-old man, I'm looking at you going, okay, brother, I'm not wishing demise on you, but observationally, you should at least be aware of these things, because if you don't know what they are and you're like living in the fog, you might not know the impact of what something can do for you until it's fatal and it's too late. So we're going to go over this video. I've got the 7 reasons broken down by clips. And because you're a woman, you're going to be the one primarily reacting to it. I've already heard everything and I agree 100%. So I'm going to add a little bit of things to it, but that's what we're doing today.
Okay.
There's not going to be a Reddit question at the end, because I think that we're going to go over time relatively fast. So I'm going to play Darwin's intro video, which y'all, the guy's a masterclass at this. I don't know if he offers content creation strategy, but Darwin, if you check this out, I'm going to reach out to you to up my game, so to speak. So let's get into it here. Let's play the first video.
Why are older men so hesitant to commit today? Why do they date younger, keep their distance, stay silent, and seem emotionally unavailable? It's not because they're afraid of love. It's because they've already been at war with it. They've been through divorce, family court, rebellion in the household, disrespect behind closed doors, and betrayal that left them emotionally bankrupt. They're not just broken. They're just wise. And what women are calling unavailable is really just self-protection. Today, I'm giving you 7 reasons why older men don't trust women anymore, and what needs to change if that trust is ever going to be restored.
Okay. So, what did you think about his premise and the information that he's about to present?
I like it. It's kind of like if you are reading a research paper and it's like that thesis at the beginning that kind of gives you the overview of what is going to be discussed, kind of sets the scene for you. I like it.
Okay. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that he brings up is that respect disappears after commitment. And I agree with this 100%. Take a look.
Reason number 1, they've watched respect disappear after commitment. Here's what a lot of women don't realize. Many older men were once providers, protectors, and leaders. They gave their wives everything, but the moment the title was secured, the tone changed. Submission turned into control, admiration turned into entitlement, peace turned into nagging. And that "I got you, baby" became "you're not doing good enough." So now these men associate commitment with trickery, marriage with manipulation, and submission with conditions.
Bars. There's something that another content creator does, Coach Greg Adams. He talks about what's called the marriage wheel, but I'll say it's a long distance wheel. and it's a part of the will that's called the bait and switch. And what he explains is that men will get into a commitment, they provide their resources, protection, and things like that. And then once the woman gets comfortable, the real person comes out. That representative is gone. And they think, well, I got this fool now, so I can be my true self. And my true self isn't the feminine person that I showed up as. My true self isn't the person that is respectful all the time. My true self is going to be disrespectful at times and non-feminine at times. And it's like, okay, but my provisions, protection, and resources don't seem to be conditional. So what's going on?
What's the definition of non-feminine?
Masculine? And that's what
No, that's the opposite. But what is the definition of non-feminine?
The definition of non-feminine?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know how to break that down live in a succinct manner.
So I say that, and this, it's not just to you, but so often men will say, oh, well, you know, she's not being feminine or she's presenting as masculine. Well, what's the definition of non-feminine? Because the definition of a non-something isn't just something else. So the definition of being non-feminine isn't saying that you're being masculine. That's the opposite of feminine. What does it mean to be non-feminine? What is someone not doing, or what is someone doing that would classify it as non-feminine? Or what does feminine look like to say that if you're not doing this, then you're not being feminine?
All right, well, I would say that it looks like me showing up, and in those first couple of months, if I walk in and then you're like, hey, baby, and then like you greet them and it's good to see you, that presents as feminine, right? You're happy to see your man when he comes in.
So a man being happy to see a woman is considered femininity in the man?
Ooh, I set myself up for
You
that
did. You did. You walked right into that.
Chat, help me out. Help me out. Non-feminine. Okay. Jess Hilarious recently talked about something that she did in which,
shout out to Baltimore. All right, go ahead.
She would present herself as like, hey, baby, how you doing? All this and that. To where then it's like, after I got him hooked, then she'd be like, hey, so what's going on? Like that right there. If I was attracted to you based on your femininity and how that presents, then that's what I'm going to expect to see going into the future. Now, if you're somebody that you are Baltimorean hood like, then that's one thing. And if that's what you like, that's what attracted me to me about you. But don't present yourself as this soft, feminine woman.
So let's say that. So I hear that, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But I hear that, and I'm like, sometimes I do greet you like sing-songy voice, and then sometimes I'm not sing-songy voice.
I like that.
But the absence of a sing-songy voice doesn't mean I'm not feminine. That just means that I'm not giddy in that particular moment. And I think that respectfully, if a man can't define what femininity is, then he doesn't have the right to say that a woman is presenting non-femininity.
I challenge that a bit though, because you know what it looks like.
I know what masculinity looks like, right? Masculinity to me is you are being that provider. You are opening doors. You are standing up. If we're seated somewhere and I have to get up and go to the restroom, like if we're seated at a restaurant and I need to get up and go to the restaurant, masculinity is standing to make sure that I'm okay and that I'm able to walk away and, you know, and being safe. And then when I'm returning back to the table, standing again to make sure that I get seated properly. Masculinity is opening the door for me, opening every door, making sure my hands never touch a handle or a doorknob. Masculinity is paying for bills, providing every single level of protection, financial, emotional, spiritual, whatever else may be. Masculinity is saying, okay, you take care of what's inside of the home, and I'll take care of every single thing that happens outside of the home. Masculinity is setting things up like that, telling me how things are going to be, because, and not like commanding, but but saying something along the lines of, I, as a man, this is what I'm going to do, and this is my expectation of you to do. That, to me, I just defined to you what masculinity is. Non-masculinity for me would be saying, being lackadaisical, not having a spine when it comes to a situation, allowing me to completely usurp any power or authority that you should have in our relationship. Non-masculinity would be sitting down every time I get up to go to the restroom and not standing and doing those things for me. Non-masculinity would be not opening the door for me, not greeting me, not outlining how things are going to flow in our home, not setting rules and ground rules for when other people come into our home, because this is the home that you pay for. Not masculinity would be you sitting at home not working while I'm out earning a paycheck. To me, that's not masculinity.
Okay.
That's the opposite.
So what's happening then that is causing the respect to be lost? Are men not providing what they said that they were supposed to provide? Like what's causing the bait and switch?
If I'm going to be very honest, and I already know that TikTok is going to tear me apart for this, TikTok and Instagram, they're going to tear me apart for it, and it's fine. But if I'm being honest, I think men have two terms in their head: masculinity and femininity, and no definitions to back it.
Okay.
And they have all of these expectations of what women are supposed to do, and they don't have, respectfully, they don't have their own thoughts and ideas of what it's supposed to look like. They're just going based off of what everyone else is saying. But the reality is, so many of us did not grow up seeing that.
Okay.
My definition of masculinity comes from what I've compulated through watching a whole bunch of other things come together, right? Not because that's what I saw my dad do for my mom, or not even because I've seen pretty much anyone do that. But that's where I've gotten my idea of what it's supposed to look like. It comes from, what the Bible says is supposed to happen. It comes from what I would ideally like to see. And that's where I've pulled my definition of masculinity. And if I am one woman, and this is where I've pulled my definition of what masculinity should look like, then I think everyone in the world is doing that. We're pulling our own things together and making our own definition, which means we're making our own sauce that can, change with the wind, because there's no concrete definition or map of what this should look like.
Okay. Now, you've heard me say this to you. You've heard me say this publicly. I don't care about your love. I care about what?
Respect.
Now, I'm not perfect. I've said this. I'm all right with that. I don't expect to be perfect. I don't always get things right. What are the things that would cause you, not speaking about other women, I'm asking you, what are the things that would cause you to lose that respect for me if I'm not doing the things that I'm doing like all the time?
For me, it would be ignoring my love language. And I have three prominent out of the five, or the five that I've grown accustomed to. I have three primary. My biggest thing, and it's like here and here, right, is quality time and physical touch.
Okay.
And it's so hard because sometimes it's here and here, and then sometimes it's here and here. It's like really hard to tell which one is which. Quality time and physical touch. Those matter a lot to me. So if you are not able to do that, and I have repeatedly expressed my need for it, I feel like you're ignoring me. And at that part, it's like, okay, well, you're not hearing me when I've said over and over and over again that this is what I need. And then furthermore, my over and over and over again is twice, because I don't like repetition, and I don't feel like I should have to say more than once that this is what I need from you. Maybe more than once in the span of a couple of months, but I feel like in a day I shouldn't have to say it more than once. So if we're getting to that point, then yeah, we're gonna have some issues.
Okay. Now we've got a couple of things in the chat here. The chat's a little bit difficult for me to read, so I gotta lean in for a second. Let's see. We got. Let me do it this way, actually. We got to scroll down. My bad. Tarika said, that's why you got to prove a friend, man, female. Speaking of what we were talking about earlier. Pete said, no, it will not. I will be happy to see my woman if I had one. Shout out to Paul Bennett. He is on season number 29. That's something that he said. Season number 29 with his wife. They've been married. They just celebrated 28 years, coming up on, year number 29 for them.
Aww.
And they were both in the gym this morning together getting their cardio in. And I wrote to him that inspired me, right? Because I had a setback. If y'all watch our content, I went to the emergency room last Monday. What happened? I got old. I don't know what to tell you.
Everybody keeps asking me. I'm like, he turned 40. Like I don't know what to tell you.
That's what I said too. What happened? Man, I'm 40.
Like that's the reason.
Okay, Pete asked a question here, and I'm going to see if I could display it on the chat here. He says, here's a question for you both. I've been rejected multiple times by women because I take care of my mother who has cancer. What do you have to say about that? I will go first.
Go.
You are doing something that, in my appearance, shows characteristics of a loving and caring man. And not because it is your mother, it's because it is somebody else, period. Mm-hmm. So to say that you've been rejected because you're taking care of somebody that is a valuable loved one in your life, I'm hearing there are women out there that right now you have something that occupies a lot of what you're doing as a person, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just, it can be difficult to find somebody that aligns with that type of a value, to understand that if we were to get to know each other and take things further, there is going to be time that I'm going to have to take care of my mother as she's going through her cancer. And I'm going to tell you right now, them rejecting you is a blessing. Yeah. Them rejecting you is eliminating them as somebody that may not align with you going forward. And the person that does understand what you're going through and chooses to still pursue things with you, that's the person that you should keep around and build something with.
And while King's not wrong, what I will say is this. Most women, you say, I'm taking care of my mother. Most people hear, I live with my mother. You say, I'm around my mother daily because she has cancer and I'm making sure that she's okay. And most women are hearing that you can't live independently without your mother. This is not me knocking you. This is me saying that this is what some people are hearing. And when they hear that, it's like, he's a mama's boy. He's going to be all up under her. He's not going to have time for me. And some women get territorial and they're like, okay, if he's doing all of this for his mom, he's not going to be able to do XYZ for me. It is nothing against you. It's just the shallowness and insecurity of other women. And that's not something that you want to hear. I understand that and I respect that. But I think that that's what's happening. And then piggybacking off of everything King said, the women who have turned you down and rejected you, it's a blessing because they probably wanted more from you than you would have been able to give them anyway. And it's a good thing that they're not the one for you.
Yep. Now there's another comment here, and the way that this is working, it's not saying who it's from, but it says guys today doesn't have or had a man in the home and their mothers weren't feminine. And I agree with that too.
What does it mean to not be feminine?
And then we'll answer this one. I heard your question. We'll answer this one and then move to the next video. Are women more territorial than men? I don't think so. I think men are more territorial than women. I posted up a meme on my page, Isaiah 4 and something another, where it was and I'm paraphrasing, so do not shoot the messenger.
No, somebody come up in the TikTok comments and ask him where that scripture comes from. Because I get on there and talk about kinsman redeemer, and they're like, what Bible verse? I'm like, just do a Google search for kinsman redeemer, is in multiple verses in the Bible, but okay, let me just quote Ruth for you real quick.
All right, here we go. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your namesake to take away our reproach. And I posted that to be funny. But what I'm also observing is that
people don't read the Bible, because if you did, you would know you read verses before and after to get context.
What comes before one? That's
so. First of all,
I'm being funny. Hold on, I have to finish my thought. Okay. I'm observing more and more things where women are being okay with certain types of men. And when I say certain types, men that have more resources than the average person. Those men can sleep with and be with whoever and are having multiple women around them because they don't want to feel, and I'm doing air quotes because I don't like this term, locked down. Like, I don't consider myself locked down with Michelle, but people that want to go out and spread their seed and have all these resources and stuff, that's how they think. So I'm looking at a lot of more relationships like this where even younger men that have wealth are looking at things and seeing the access to women that they have going, I got a whole rotation. Why should I just be with one person? So I posted that because observationally, I'm like, even the Bible's talked about this.
So piggybacking off of that, you said what comes before one. So fun fact, the division of the Bible, like with the chapters that you see today, wasn't like that back then. It kind of just flowed. So it may look like 4 and 1 to us, but when it was written, it just flowed. It wasn't that division. Okay, so it may look like it's one, but the reality, just like Paul Bennett said, chapter 3 provides more insight. You can't just read one verse of the Bible and be able to get complete context, because you can completely misapply and misunderstand anything that's in there. You got to read before and after and the whole entire section to understand what it's talking about.
Here's my whole disclaimer. I don't read the Bible.
And
No. They don't know that.
They know that you said that before.
There's new people here.
But we're like talking to Paul. Like, so we know that.
I don't read the Bible. I posted that just kind of food for thought for a specific thing. But I thank you for the education on that. Because ignorant of it, wouldn't have known that. So.
That's fine. I got
you, boo. Paul said, misapplied scripture. Chapter 3 provides the context. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to say it's not my...
It picks up in Isaiah 3, verse 16. The heading of that section is called Judah's Women Denounced. And like, there's a whole thing that is talking about before you even get into 4 and 1. So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
Now, Darwin's next video here, I titled it, Men Have Already Been Through It. So let's hear what he has to say about this.
Reason number 2, they've been dragged through the family court system. Let's talk facts. 70% of the men watching this video right now have either been through a divorce where they lost custody, been financially gutted by child support, or been falsely accused by the very woman they once loved.
In your lie detector test, you were asked, did you have any sexual contact with any of your 3 daughters? You said no. And the lie detector said there was no deception.
And you want them to trust again. And you want them to trust again.
Miss Yvonne has acknowledged that her story about you touching your children in a sexual way was not true.
And you want them to trust again.
Why didn't you fight for them harder if you knew you didn't do it?
Now, I had to stop on that face right there. So that was, and I'm going to say her name wrong, but I'm going to try it. Iyanla Vanzant. All right. And in that video that's been widely talked about among various content creators and people, that man was falsely accused of doing inappropriate things with, I don't know if it was one or more than one. 3 younger women. And he was in prison for it, went through the ringer, only for them to recant their statement and say that he didn't do it. And that was a sit down to try to reconcile the accusers and the man for what ruined his life. And the part that made everybody get upset was that part right there, just before that face, in which the mom said, "Why didn't you fight harder?"
Because it was his 3 kids. So, if I'm hearing it correctly, he was accused of doing that to his 3 daughters.
To his own kids, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom goes, "Why didn't you fight harder?" What else is he supposed to do besides defend himself from 3 different people, right? And I don't know what scientific stuff was done at that time to bring the case. If it was 1-1, I don't know, without evidence or whatnot. I just don't know how that works. But he was in prison for a while. They had that set down. And instead of showing up and saying, "We're sorry," they started to get argumentative with him through that. And what Darwin is saying when he said that older men have already been through it, I don't just look at it as older men have been through it so they look at women with less trust. I look at it as, I also think because of social media, which is a blessing and a curse all at the same time, we're starting to see younger men as well see what's happening. My first time going through family court was for my divorce. And I was in my mid-30s at this point. And I had never been to family court before, but it was eye-opening because in my court, it's not just you and the magistrate or the judge that day. It's other people that are going through some of the same or very similar proceedings. And when I looked around too, you didn't see kids in family court, at least in the one that I went to. The kids weren't in there. Adults try to shield their kids from that. But more and more men are now being vocal and speaking up about things that can occur if you aren't on your grind, aren't doing the right thing, and you choose the wrong person to attach yourself to with long term. So what do you think about that? Because, you know, you're with a man that did go through some things. And in the earlier parts of our relationship, I initially denied that what had occurred to me affected me. But I understood later what it was that you meant and agreed that what I went through did affect me. So what advice do you have for women that are trying to get a man, but that man is going, "Yeah, I don't trust these ladies out here"? And I really had to correct myself just now.
First, I want to honor and say that I understand that it is not easy to trust another person after you've been hurt. And that's point blank, regardless
of gender. I agree.
It is not easy to trust someone after you've been hurt. However, there is no way that I can advise you to trust another person after you've been hurt. The only thing that I can say is you have to try. You have to believe within your heart that not every single person is a horrible human being, and that maybe even, and I'm pushing it, maybe even your ex isn't a horrible human being, but just the two of y'all just did not work.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not that, this is a really horrible example because I know vegans will come for me.
It should be good.
But milk isn't a bad product, right? Like milk, cow's milk is good. It has its good points, but it does not agree with every single person.
Can vegans drink breast milk?
Breast milk from a human being?
Yeah. I'm asking. I don't know.
Why would someone who has consciously made the decision to be vegan still drink breast milk is the question.
You might, I don't know, isn't there nutrients or something?
Okay.
Maybe they just want to.
Let me do this analogy on my own, baby.
Hey, husband of mine, father of my kid, I need to express some stuff right now.
Oh my gosh.
And the machine's down.
Anyway.
Your analogy, my bad.
Cow's milk is good, right? It has nutrients, it has all these things that's good for, can be good for the human body, but it's not good for every human body.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that cow's milk is the worst thing that's out there. That just means it doesn't agree with everyone. And I think that that's the thing. Like, not every human being is a horrible human being. Are there horrible human beings? Yes. But not not every couple that you see is supposed to be together. Sometimes two people just bring out the worst in one another. And that does not mean that if they go off and be with someone else that they're going to do the exact same thing. And I think that that's something that people don't take into consideration. The person that you are with may have just been trash for you, but for the next person, they could be a diamond. Likewise, you may have been with someone who was really, really bad, but that does not mean that the next person you come in contact with is going to be really, really bad for you. It's a trial and error thing.
Okay.
And then you also have to examine how you are in a relationship. And that's one thing that I try to reflect on now as I get older. Um,
Finish your thought.
that's one thing I try to reflect on now as I get older. Like, what's my responsibility in relationships? What did I do wrong? Because if I'm constantly saying, oh, well, my ex did da 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 da, which is often what you hear from men, respectfully, they will go in on a woman. What did you do wrong? Because you're not perfect.
One of my earlier dates, I did that, and I was talking to a common friend of mine. I won't say the name because if that person's watching, they'll know exactly that I'm talking about them. But I went out on a date one time, and I didn't realize it until later, I mean months later, that I was like, oh, there's a reason why I didn't get a call back.
Yeah.
I was fresh off my divorce, and I talked about all the bad things that my ex-wife did.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, people, and the thing is, you will see it a lot from men that they will go out with someone after a failed relationship, and all they'll do is bash their ex. And I'm like, well, boo, what did you do wrong? Like, because you not Jesus. Like, you not walking this earth perfectly. You did something wrong.
Paul said, breast milk is not vegan. Good thing I ain't vegan then.
Oh my God.
That was a joke.
Oh my God.
So, question here from Paul as well. He said, are women less likely to apologize to their spouse than men to apologize to their spouse? So let's answer this one on one together. I think this is a yes, no. Do you agree that it's yes, no? Men will apologize. Women less likely to apologize is the question.
Okay.
All right, so it'd be 1, 2, and then yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to the question, are women less likely to apologize to their spouse than men? 1, 2,
No.
yes.
I believe it's equal. Here's why I believe it's equal. I believe that a person will utter words, but I don't believe that either one of them will necessarily mean it unless they feel like they did something wrong. I believe that either party, regardless of gender, will say whatever they need to say to mend the particular moment.
Okay, all right. I'm real curious. With the people that you speak to,
Mm-hmm.
I often hear from the fellas
Mm-hmm.
that if their lady ever apologizes, it's like a milestone. They will etch that into memory because it rarely happens. Are you hearing that from ladies about their significant others? Like, if a guy's wrong, hey, so this happened, whatever, but he eventually apologized?
No.
Because what I observe from ladies is that they don't apologize. They'll be wrong about something, and then 2 hours later, hey, you want a sandwich? It's like, no, I don't want no sandwich. Give me an apology sandwich.
But here's the thing. For some people, that is an apology. Like my mom never says I'm sorry for something. Like it's very rare that she'll say something. But for some people whose love language are acts of service, that doing something for you is their definition of an apology. Plus, flag on the play, that's a generational thing. That comes down from generations and generations of people, male and female, who did not apologize. They just let their actions speak for them. And that's why I said what I said.
No. In this video, that's exactly what happened. And two things should happen. You should say, I'm sorry, and you should correct their behavior.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that we have seen time and time again that, like, generationally, people didn't apologize. They did things like,
Ooh.
I'm pausing because I'm like, I'm trying not to offend things. So I'm just going to say my mother. My mother has done some things over the course of my life that I don't necessarily agree with.
Okay.
And very few of them has she apologized for. She has her love action was always, her love language was always acts of service. So it was her belief that, you know, by continuing to pay the bills and by continuing to keep a roof over my head, that was her way of apologizing for things. And I'm going to say this as respectfully as I possibly can. I see that in your family too.
100%.
And they do that because that's what was done to them. And it was done to that generation because that's what came before. Like, it's learned behavior.
Yep. And guess what? That learned behavior has consequences.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying it's learned behavior.
Okay. Before we go to the next video, there's a question from Michael Carasquillo. Why is everything for sale on your website only in gray?
Because things look bigger in gray. No.
We just launched it.
Well, A, we just launched it, and B, our logo looks really nice against gray.
So I'll take this time to do some marketing. This portion of the episode is brought to you by The King and Me Show. We have a website. It is live in full effect. If you support us, there are some things on there that you can buy. So,
and everything looks bigger and gray. So
go check out what we have to offer on there. The support and stuff that we get from that helps build our channel and things like that. So the description of the link to the website is in the description box below, but it is thekingandmeshow.com. Now, let's get to the next video here. And CQ, I'm going to have to reach out to you to figure out why people's names aren't displaying in Ninja Chat. Video number 3, loyalty is optional.
Number 3, loyalty has become optional for modern women. Back then, loyalty was a value. Now it's a convenience. Older men grew up in a time when love meant standing by your man. Now they see women standing with their man until it's no longer exciting.
Joe Kleinsmith, he gets up limping off that play.
This is a clip from the Tyler Perry movie. And the guy's just sitting there. He's in peace. Watch this TV show. She gets a call from a side piece. He steps away.
They watch women jump ship as soon as he's not romantic enough. He's too focused on his purpose. He starts correcting her attitude or keeping her from being in the streets. Modern women have more loyalty to their friend group, their boss, or their followers on IG than they do to the man who's providing everything for them.
Now, I recently saw something that Anton Daniels put out. Anton Daniels is a guy that's exploding across social media from Detroit, and he does a lot of different things. But on one of his vlogs, he shared a behind the scenes in which, and I'm sorry, Anton, I don't know if that's your wife, your lady, your main. I don't know your relationship status. I'm only just really beginning to peek behind the curtains for what you choose to share with everybody. But he was on a phone call in which the lady who he was talking with was like, you said that you were going to be doing your content and it was only going to be an hour, and it was an hour and a half. And you could see the frustration in his face because apparently he communicated with her that he was going to do the show, and then after the show, they were going to go out and do something or something to that effect. And he went over. He's a wildly popular guy. His content and stuff is what's helped driving the success and things that he's building. And with all of that, you want to talk about him going over 30 minutes? It's like, no. Your loyalty seems to only be conditional for what you can do in that moment. But if I'm telling you, I got to go out and take care of this, I got to go out and do that, This might mean that I'm going to be away for a while I'm focused on this. Men don't want to come into that house feeling like they've got an adversary for just doing what they feel as though they need to do.
So I'm kind of intentionally playing like the other side of things because I think so often we only see our side or as it applies to us. So I hear what he's saying, and I do have comments on what he said in the video, but I'm going to get to the other clip that you just talked about. The way I hear that, and I don't know the woman, I don't know man, whatever, but for me, that would frustrate me too. You know why? Because you don't respect my time. If you told me that you were going to do something in 60 minutes, but it took you 90 minutes to do something, that's 30 minutes of my time that I was waiting for you and you didn't come through. And my time is important to
Okay.
you. And as much as you talk about respect, as much as men talk about respect, you showed no respect for my time in that moment.
What's going to happen in cases like that, and I'm going to say, I agree with you. There may come a fork in the road then where that guy goes, okay, bye.
But here's a quick solution. Say, hey, I'm doing a live stream. It's typically about 60 minutes, but can we just budget for like around like the 90-minute time frame or something like that? Better yet, how about here's the link. You watch it and then you'll be able to see when I'm finished and give me like 5 minutes after I'm finished to like do some post-op stuff or some post-show stuff. And then I'll come and get you. I'll call you. I'll do whatever.
No.
But see,
no.
Here's the thing. That's more respectful of my time. Like you, and I'm saying this with love, but you were so out there with your time that you don't understand that for some people, especially neurodivergent people, having a schedule means a lot.
Okay. How long are you going to be? I don't know. I'm done when I'll get done. I'll let you know.
But that's not respectful of someone else's time. Like, and I'm saying
Then
the
that
word
may not mean y'all might not be compatible.
No, King, like it just means be respectful of someone's time.
Okay,
Like it really
you can
is
be
the way that you can modify that to be respectful of someone else's time.
Yes, by giving them the ability to go find somebody else that's more compatible with that. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm doing what Anton's doing, I understand that something might have to go wrong. Like if you're in your purpose, taking care of something, signing autographs, you're networking after speaking at an event, and things go a little bit over, and you're doing that because you're in your element, I'm falling back on that.
Yeah, but you know what? Because I am someone who respects other people's time, I am going to like keep an eye out on how long that is taken. And I am going to be cognizant of how much time that I'm giving to this particular situation because I've made time commitments to other people. I'm sorry, like time is a big thing for me because time is not something you can get back. And I don't think that that's fair. Like I've always been triggered when it came to time. Number one, I live up to my last name. Like I make that very, very clear that I live up to my last name. Number two, I think about something that happened to me when I was a child. How like I used to get a ride to church every morning, every Sunday morning, and my best friend would say, you know, she and her family were leaving, and I'm just throwing out a time. They would say that they were leaving their house at 9 o'clock. They live 2 minutes down the street. Even with the traffic to make a left-hand turn to come and get me, it shouldn't have taken her more than 5 minutes if they were leaving at 9 o'clock. So at like 9:04, I would turn on my house alarm, go outside, and stand and wait because you told me you were leaving at 9 o'clock. It takes you 2 minutes, 3 minutes on a bad day to get up here, but I'm budgeting for 5. I'll go outside and I stand and they wouldn't be there. And it was week after week. And I'm like, that's wasting my time. And I don't think that that is respectful to do that to anyone.
Okay.
And it's
and
like,
I don't disagree with that.
But it's like, if you wouldn't do that to someone who was paying you, if you wouldn't waste someone's time like that for someone who is, paying you or that you're paying, because technically when you're in a relationship there is a transaction that's going on between the two of you, then why would you, like, that's disrespectful to just waste someone's time like that.
Okay, But the consequence that's going to occur is you are going to see more men that understand that they're in their purpose and don't want distractions go, yeah, I'm cool
But
on the
that's not a
relationships.
distraction.
That is,
That's
yes,
not a
it is.
distraction asking you to honor someone's
It
time.
can be a distraction.
It's only a distraction if you allow it to be,
But
because you're being disrespectful.
but I'm telling you, more men are going to see it as a distraction, and more men who are purpose driven are gonna go, yeah, I'm good on this
So
relationship.
if I ask you to respect my time, that's me being like not doing that.
I'm telling you that if you feel as though I'm not being respectful of your time, you might lose that one.
I think that that's a cop out to be disrespectful to someone else. Like, I think that that is the biggest cop out ever.
I don't view it as I'm trying to be disrespectful to you. I'm viewing it as
You just profusely apologized to Peter for wasting his time because you were supposed to call him. And that was literally a prime example of wasting someone's time because he was waiting. But you wouldn't do the same thing for someone you're in a romantic relationship with?
No, I would. It depends on this. It depends on what it was.
But that's all I'm saying. Like, that. What you're saying about Anton sounds like he didn't do that. You just wasted 30 minutes of homegirl's time. And that's the equivalent of wasting Peter's time when you said that you were going to call him. When you say you're going to do something, unless it's an emergency or there's a prolific apology that's coming behind it, you're wasting someone's time, and that is disrespectful. And that's like point blank period. Like, there needs to be some level of realization that you are doing this, and it needs to be followed by a profound apology, or like the understanding, not even but the understanding that you were disrespecting someone's time. Like, that is big.
I understand that. The really, in that point, the only thing I can do is, you're feeling a type of way and your feelings are valid. The only thing I can do is apologize. What I can't promise is that it won't happen again, which is bad, which is why I then go back and I default to, if a man who's purpose driven has to choose between the distraction that's over here and what they're doing, they're going to say bye to the distraction. I'm just telling you the consequence of it.
It's not a distraction. It's respecting someone's time. It really is just that simple, to be respectful of someone's time. To take an extra second to say, my stream typically runs this long. Give me this grace of a window. Here's the link. Watch it. You'll see when I'm done. Like, it's not a distraction to be considerate of someone else's feelings.
Let's see. We have some comments here, and we're at the top of the hour, and I have to be respectful of your time as you are an early riser tomorrow. So let me take a look at the comments here, and then we'll see. I'm going to ask you how far we can go. So my pops is in the building, said, hey, y'all, just came in. So busy. Missed you guys the last couple of weeks. Very interesting topic. Very cool. Thanks, Pops, for coming in. Let's see. I think this was Paul Bennett said, one incident typically doesn't trigger that reaction. Most likely he's done this once more, but then Anton calls himself a benevolent dictator. Look, the guy's full of himself. I'm not saying that I fully agree with him, but what I am saying is that I understand what it means to be on your purpose. And it can be difficult to become a successful person and balance a relationship, because I have to tell you, you and I met at a good time in my life, because I got to where I'm at now because I took myself off of the dating market, and I had to focus, because it was difficult for me to focus and be on my purpose and also try to commit and be in some type of a relationship with anybody. So I had to take myself off the dating market. And being that I've done that, and where I had my life shoot up like this, I stand hard on this one, because unless you're with somebody that understands that, you're not going to hit the trajectory that you want to hit because that can be a distraction.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying that when you have made the intentional decision to be with someone, you need to respect them. As much as you want to get respect, you need to give respect. And if you have made the intentional decision to be with someone, but you are willfully and woefully um, disrespecting them by disrespecting their time, that is a problem that you need to address.
Oh no, they can walk. If that relationship isn't serving them because they feel as though they're being disrespected because their time's not valued, they can certainly choose to walk as well.
I'm gonna say something about this offline.
All right. So we have, what's it? That was video number 3. So we have 4 more videos. Each of the videos that Darn presents, I cut down. They're average about 2 minutes long. So that's 8 minutes there. Do you think we could get through those videos and provide commentary on it?
Oh, not at all.
Okay. So I think we make a pivot. I think we turn this into 2 parts.
That's fine. Because we technically didn't address this video because you changed it and started talking about Anton.
Okay. Well, let's finish this addressing this part. Do we need to replay it, or are you able to go into it to where we could address it and then wrap up and go into a part 2 later?
I don't think loyalty is optional. I think that the concept that Darn was talking about, when I think about that, what I think is people change and people don't notice what they've done. Like the whole bait and switch concept that it's a woman who comes into a relationship and then she changes. I don't think that that is fair. I think that people do that. So putting aside a gender, like I'm going very neutral because I'm tired of the whole misnomer that women are the only fallible creatures and they're the only ones that come into a relationship and make a mistake.
I don't disagree with that, but it's when the women are the ones that are leveling up, they're leaving the relationship. This relationship no longer serves me. I'm gone. You don't see men doing that. It's
Because
rare. It's rare. It's rare that you see men do that.
Because again, talking about generations, historically, men were taught to stay there. Like you go out, you do your dirt, and you still come home to the same women. And after a while, women are like, I'm not sitting here and waiting for it. But what every woman finds to be a deal breaker is going to vary. And because it's not the same thing, like if every woman said, I am walking when my man cheats, then it would be a little bit understandable when a woman leaves. If every woman says, I'm walking when my man disrespects my time, then it would be a little bit more understandable. But because every woman is different, and some women are going to leave when he cheats, and some women are going to leave when he disrespects her time, and some women are going to leave when he sits and he games all day and he doesn't pay attention to her, and some women are going to leave if he doesn't know how to put away the dishes, because it's not the same thing across the board. It's going to be viewed like a woman just ups and changes her mind. No, we're different. We all have a different thing. Like I have 3 things that I won't tolerate. Those may not be the same 3 things as any other person. Someone else may have 1 thing that they won't tolerate. Someone may have 10 that if you violate any of these 10 things, like we're all different. And because we're all different, we are all going to react differently. But men are coming in all of these spaces and they're like, oh, well, my woman left me for this, and my woman left me for this, or my woman did this. And it's like, oh, these women, they don't know what they want. They just up and change. Loyalty is not here. No, women are different. We are all different. We are not all here accepting or living by the same thing. We are all completely different. And that's what men aren't taking into consideration, that we are different. We may be the same gender, but we are different people. No 2 people, not even twins, have the same DNA. So why do you keep thinking that every single woman is going to be exactly the same, good or bad? We ain't your mama. We ain't your ex-girlfriend. We ain't your baby mama. Like, we are not your sister. We're not your niece. We're not your cousin. We are who we are individually. Again, Twins don't have the same DNA. Stop getting with woman A and woman B and expecting them to be the same. Stop expecting that what you get from one, you're going to get from another. Again, good or bad, we are different. Different. Like, understand that.
How do you, is that in sign language?
Different.
Do it again.
Different.
Different.
We're not the same.
Oh man, I can't wait for part 2, because there were some things that we might start part 2 with what you just said that then gets presented that I'd be curious to see how that gets defensed, broken down, analyzed, whatever you just did, whatever verb you want to insert with that. I'm real curious to see how we play this out. So we're going to have to break this down into 2 parts. When I planned this out, I thought we would be able to get through it in an hour, but that was not the case. So Darwin, we got 2 videos covering the content that you gave, brother. It was fantastic content, in my opinion. We do have a couple of comments here, and then we are going to wrap this up. And part 2 is going to cover points 4 through 7. And then he also gave 7 things that can be done to change it. And those points in the last one were relatively quick. So let's take a look at the comments here and see what we have. We have Tarika that said, Queen, I agree with you. And Tarika also said, King, if it's a distraction, let me see if I can put that up on the screen here. If it's a distraction,
then don't be in a relationship.
Then don't be in a relationship. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that a consequence of that is that a purpose-driven man might be in a relationship, and that relationship may not serve his purpose.
And I am sorry, I disagree. I feel like that is a cop-out to not hold yourself accountable and responsible. Like, respect someone's time. It's really just that simple. Like, it really, really is just that simple.
You know, when I had the analogy, trains going this way, like, that's what I mean. Trains going this way.
Train's going this way, and if I'm on the train, if I'm going at the same speed, and all I'm asking is that you communicate or that you respect time, that's not veering against the train. That's holding you accountable because you're a grown adult. Like, that's not doing something different.
Paul Bennett over on YouTube said, I'm with Michelle on this. At least acknowledge and apologize for not keeping your promise. But then the question again, who is most likely to apologize?
In that situation, I would say it would probably be the woman, because she doesn't want to lose what she has.
Yeah, and I don't know what their situation is like personally, because I don't know Anton like that, right? People choose to share what they share online, so that's the window that you see it from. Yet, I'm going to say, like, Travis Hunter, right? I'm using prominent people here. So stuff like that, it's different for the average person, but there are some contexts that can be applied to the average person. Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner, likely going to be a top 15 draft pick. I understand that if you were the person that is in that position, then I'm supporting you, not being a hindrance, not being somebody that's going to nag you and give attitude the way that it was perceived like she was doing to him during that time period. I get that, right? So it's, what can I do to ensure that everything that you've got going on is a smooth transition? That's how I'm thinking that some things should be, right? So I'm not saying it's a gender specific thing that women should serve men. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that when one person presents a certain way and they have these opportunities, if you take that person away from that opportunity to spend time with you.
But asking someone, like, if you say you're going to call in 60 minutes and then you call in 90, that's not taken away. That's saying, hey, give some consideration for the last 30 minutes. Like, what if she could have been working for that last 30 minutes and she chose to avail herself because he said 60? Like, you don't know the ins and outs. It's just asking someone to be respectful of someone else's time.
I'm real curious what you got to say offline. So that is our live stream for today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Got to fix the chat situation that was up on the screen, but that's a different topic that y'all don't care about. Look, if there's a like button on your platform, do us a favor, hit that like button. Check out our website, thekingandmeshow.com. This lovely lady put it all together. I'm going to give you props. That was something that you took, massage, and ran with, and called me at like 1 in the morning and said, this website is done. And I was like, oh, well, okay. Thank you. It was something that was on our board, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. That is an example of like a value add. And it's one of those things that if I'm trying to be on my purpose and you're not a value add, I'm saying that men, like what Darwin is talking about when he's saying older men, are going to see things and see relationships as not being a value add, and they're going to go, I'm good. That's all I'm saying. That's my point. So we'll see.
You want to know why I could do that?
Because I communicated?
Because I respect your time.
Shout out to everybody that tuned in. If you're not following us on our other platforms, be sure to check those platforms out there in the link as well. We do some exclusive stuff on the audio only Spotify. So if you're not following our Spotify, we do some exclusives on there as well that we don't put on other platforms. So check us out over on Spotify as well. I'm King. That's Michelle. This has been a good episode. Thanks to the Hobbs family for the gift that y'all sent, and the stickers and stuff as well. We'll see y'all next Monday, Liggity Live, on the first Monday live stream in April.
Which means we'll be changing the calendar.
We'll be changing the calendar. All right. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.